A Hidden Human-Altered Environment by Dior, Marbrow-Wright. I am discussing the ideas of nature, but looking more closely at the themes of Anthropocene epoch, preservation of nature, and climate change. I want this in-depth research to make a change and be considered as a crucial aspect of knowledge upon the relationship between humanity and nature, of how photography can be beneficial yet detrimental to landscapes. The reason why I'm so interested in this is because I grew up in a small village in the middle of nowhere, so it felt right to document and research things where I came from. What is nature? The ancient Greeks named nature physis. This word was conceptualized around the idea that nature was something creative and forever growing. It was a structured observation of the physical world. In ancient Greece, there was said to be a fight between two forces, law and nature. These forces were more commonly known as nomos. This word means rationalism and order in the physical world. This fight was placed upon man and woman. Men were deemed to be the law side as they were more chaotic, whereas women were placed on the nature side as they were more caring and delicate. Aristotle described the word physis as a concrete determination of everything living and an echo on a forever regenerating idea of nature. However, as humanity has developed, it is seen that nature loves to hide. This highlights that through humanity's knowledge we have tried to unconceal the concealed. However, we don't know our own destruction. In fact, throughout the years we have become entangled in the other world, and we have lost the true meaning of what Aristotle and the Greeks studied in the first place. We can cover it up, that is a principle of life, but I believe that we're only looking at the appearance of our relationship with nature and not grasping the underlying issues such as Anthropocene in art and in a geological sense. The word Anthropocene traditionally comes from the Greek terminology for modern humans. It is also adapted from the Greek word techne, which is a notion of nature being mostly manly made. The word discusses that humans remain the primary cause of an irreversible planetary change, meaning that humans have caused a significant impact on the Earth and its inhabitants. Furthermore, the change is forever lasting due to how much damage humanity has brought upon nature and the landscapes around us. The Earth is around 4.5 billion years old and humans are only 200,000 years old, yet we think we know more fundamentally about the Earth and its inhabitants because we have decided to alter it to suit us. In recent years, there has been an increased amount of unpredicted damage to the Earth through climate change. Nature has had to partially adapt to this change caused by the evolution of humans. As we take a closer look into the Earth's atmosphere, it becomes apparent that the world is going to pieces. This is a quote from The Art of Anthropocene by Davis and Turpin. The book presents an economic realities of human exploitation. It is a literal sediment that addresses an unsettling disciplinary to the emerging issues around Anthropocene in art. It delivers an urgence in the environmental discourse in humanity, which has been highly provoked through the aesthetics in art and photography. Through still imagery and other modes of visuals, we can create an experience of a true way of living with nature, but it has become increasingly toxic and caused us to think and believe that we are living in a damaged world. The damaged world relates back to my work called Lost Things in Grandad's Garden, as through composition I have cut out pieces of the plant. I have changed the vibrancy of the organic to make it seem more inorganic, damaging its natural intent, then physically disrupting the space by leaving garden tools in its way so it cannot grow the way that it should. Going back to the quotation, it's apparent that both the quote and the image give us a sense of truth to what is happening in the world. We are continuing to cycle a vision of beauty by altering nature within art through composition. We're witnessing this condemnation between organic and inorganic. Overall, human exploitation within art processes show an emergence of decay, but also a dominance to the geological debate, which helps to shape our minds and thoughts of the world. Therefore, our minds are being left exposed to the guilt and pleasure that we have undertaken by exploiting our resources in the ecological system. Anthropocene calls us to imagine humanity, which is a contribution in an intense perception on the thesis Anthropocene. The images we create show a brutal product of humanity as they volume powerful problems of our industrialised issues in the ecological system, such as agriculture. It can be interpreted that Anthropocene is a commitment and has been something in which humans have built up to create an illogical imagination. The work by John Martin tackles the intertwining relationship between humanity and nature. It shows a glimpse of how humanity perceives nature. But overall, we have constructed things like the mundane and the sublime, shown in composition, to create something more than the ordinary. In the book Philatelism and Preservation of Nature by Simon P. James, Volume 88, he looks at the ideas of human nature and preservation. He suggests that observation is the key. Observation is distinctive and doesn't focus exclusively on the physical of fauna and flora, which have been seen to disappear over the years as humanity progresses. In the book, it criticises the idea about humans' intervention with nature by planting trees in a planned structure, in which all oaks and ashes are genetically selected will have lost much of the meaning and beauty of oak and ash. Planting lots of trees is a sign of preservation to keep the species populating. However, doesn't this policy create a loss of meaning of what is considered natural and effectively creating a strain on the world? My photographs highlight this notion and embodies that humanity has created a mysterious distinction between real and something more artificially genetically grown. It brings acclaim to our first sights of nature and the abstract, but overall it adds notion of being unmindful to planting trees. Environmentalists look at certain parts of what and where nature should be preserved, but why is this necessary? This adds to the meaning of loss, surely, and that nature is entirely instrumentalised by human artifice. As we look further into Aristotle's discovery of physis, it becomes apparent that the observation of the physical world is a circle of life. Yes, like Lion King said. However, when the circle does weaken, it becomes a dissolution for humans, which then impacts nature. I believe this quotation relates back to my work, Preservation Destruction. I have created a tactile sculpture of an imprinted leaf made from concrete, which is a man-made substance, something that is not supposed to break and decay, but when I squeeze it within my hands, it became something that could no longer perform its use. It is an irony. Something that is made to be sustainable through humanity shouldn't be able to break so easily from the touch of both nature and humanity. This is a dissolution. Overall, humanity's relationship with nature will always be incommunicable. The atmosphere of the Earth has changed over time. The current warming of the Earth has risen by 95% from the product of human activity since the 20th century and is increasingly still. There is no question that increased levels of greenhouse gases must cause Earth to warm in response, all because of human activity. We have taken the Earth and nature for granted and do not realise our consequences. One of these activities that has caused climate change is agriculture, which you can see in this photo I've taken. The concept of agriculture is a sustainable and resilient part of the ecological system and is used within farming practice. This idea is to supply humanity as it is supposed to be a faster way to produce organic foods. However, over time, farmers have exploited the function of the ecological system to produce more than nature can handle, breaking it of everything it can take and contradicting the definition itself. The idea of overmanagement when agriculture has been applied has left the landscape and the environment feeling exposed and used. This quotation highlights the pace of a geological awakening. Through time, we have allowed and caused catastrophic activities to be placed upon Earth and affect nature. In these moments, it is palpable that we are fools of material reality, a persistent and continuous shape of experience and existence, thus creating a habit of product and activity. In a way, it does show our geological force and our investigation to the material around us, but our thoughts are creating a continental rift where human life is dependent on the extraction of nature. These activities we have undertaken have produced unusable waste. I believe this waste is survivable and will outlast the whole human species. Our photographs no longer show an illogical imagination, but an illogical reality. I have analysed three key themes, which were Anthropocene epoch, the preservation of nature, and climate change in our future. All this research has helped me to understand the relationship between nature and humanity. All the work I have explored has helped to collect much deeper knowledge to my physical work. I can now approach the work from a philosophical point of view, as well as a personal one. I think there will be nothing without each other. We are both dependent on one another to survive. Yes, I believe that we have become partly destructive of nature, but that's what we'll keep on doing until the end of the earth. In my previous work, I was giving a question, which was, what have I done to make the world a better place? I believe this question will always affect my thoughts and practice. Although what I am producing has maybe not made the whole world a better place, but it has made a huge discovery in mine.